of the country. So we're gonna open the floor for our panelists, Sam Ceesay and Alas, to open this discussion. So Sam, you wanna go ahead?
Sam, you
Yeah.
wanna go?
Well, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Sawaneh. Thank you for, and Alice for being here as well.
Thank you.
This is very important. This is a very important topic. I know we've talked about a lot of important stuff there, here, but, you know, selecting the right leadership is very, very important for our country. And Gambians need to know that and need to be aware of that. Whoever we select, will put in front of us to be our leader, should be a person that really has the vision for our country. And but you know, all of these comes along with leadership. And what is leadership? Leadership has criterias and characteristics that people look for in a leader. One is a leader really is someone that has for a leader for a country. You really need to have honesty. You need to have integrity. You need to be a trustworthy person, someone that is going to do what they say they're going to do, someone that will also have respect for people by respecting him or herself first, so people can respect you. And after all of that, when you have those basic characteristics, quite a bit more. Communication is part of leadership, someone that will communicate frequently and be very precise in their communication. That's very important. Leadership cannot go without proper communication. And when you have all of those and you want to lead people, you need to have, especially leading a country is very important. You need to have the vision for that country. What is your vision? You know, what is your vision for where you see a country today, and where do you see this country under your leadership in the next 5 years? That's critical. And someone also that is going to come prepared, because leading a country is not a joke. It's really not a joke. It's not just about going to politics and say anything that you want. Is more like be able to say something that you know for sure you can do, and say something that you know of. Speak about something that you know of. When you become a leader, that these are things that you're going to look at. And anyone coming to office really need to be prepared. Need to be prepared to kick the ground running, to kick off, hit the ground running from day one. It's not about getting in there and then try to start figuring things out. You know, if you go in the middle of the game to figure things out in the middle of the game, then you're wrong. You're not prepared. You know, you need to figure things out, have your game plan before you get in the field. You know, so that is very, very important.
You need to you need to practice your moves
You
before
need
you
to
go there.
practice everything and be prepared. Just like I keep saying, you know, you have to plan, because if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. You know, it's just like that. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you don't have that proper planning from the beginning, when you go in there, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. So the proper planning also involves prioritizing. Sit with your leadership team. Sit with your team and look at what are the problems. I know Gambia is full of problems. We have a lot of problems and we cannot solve them all at one time. So list down all the problems, then prioritize them. When you prioritize them as a leader, prioritize them into three different buckets. Bucket A, B, and C. Bucket A are things that are very important. They are of paramount importance and they have to be taken care of now. If not, they're going to cause another problem. Okay, or they could be catastrophic if you don't take care of them. That's bucket A. So things that you can do. And also, like I said, proper planning is important, because you want to plan for something you know for sure you can handle. Then bucket B will be the things that can wait until bucket A is done. Bucket A lists are done, because these can wait a little bit. They've been waiting for a little bit, but they can wait a little longer without without a major catastrophe. So you can put those in the bucket B, so that once you handle bucket A, then bucket B becomes your priority. Now, bucket C will be part of your long-term goals, because you should have short-term goals, which should be your bucket A. Mid-term goals should be in your bucket B, and long-term goals can be in your bucket C. By the time you get to bucket C, your short-term goals are already accomplished, mid-term goals are already accomplished, and then bucket C, when you get to that, you get those accomplished, you can say mission accomplished. This is, or these are the things that we put as priority that need to be done. They need to be done. Even if you're going to pick 3 things, if you're going to, I know, like I said, Gambia has too many problems. But if you narrow those problems to 10 problems and pick the best 10, the 10 that you know for sure need to be handled, and you divide that 10 into 3 groups, and start with 1 and 2, and then group 3. So I think this is where we need that proper planning for our country. And for Gambians to be able to select who can do that is very important for Gambians to understand that. And this is not about what people go to politics and go say on a campaign trail. This is about Gambians knowing who is the best leader for them. And the best way to do that is, there are different ways to do that, but one way that I've said over and over and over is to really, after all political parties look at their people, political parties need to do their vetting process between them, within themselves, select a leader who's going to be their flag bearer. And those flag bearers are people that they know for sure can represent the country. And then IEC, in conjunction with all these political parties, need to organize a presidential debate for the Gambian people to now know these people without even going on a campaign trail. Because if you do a political debate between presidential candidates, and I know candidates are popping up here and there, left and right. Now we have about 17 or 18 of them there. And if I have to look at that list, I'll say half of them may not be ready. They think they're ready, but they may not be ready to lead a country. So, but the best way for Gambians to see that is to have them in a political debate that will be televised for the whole country to be able to see. And this can be arranged and organized and announced ahead of time for all people to know that day so-and-so is our presidential debate. Then we bring all these presidential candidates, including the current incumbent. President Barrow will take a stand. All the political party leaders or their flag bearers will take a stand. And then, like I said, preparation is key. All of this has to be prepared way ahead of time, so that there are questions that can be narrowed down to good questions that will represent the general public, that will represent Gambian people. And IEC can be part of this and coordinating this, especially with the television stations, so that they have different people from different backgrounds. Like I said before, we want somebody that's going to represent the Ministry of Education, that's going to talk about, ask each presidential candidate, what is your plan for education and the future of our kids? Okay. We should have someone from that's going to ask on behalf of the farmers, what is your future? What is the future for the farmers in our country? What is your plan? Then, you have someone that's from the healthcare department, or a question about the healthcare. Ask these political party leaders or presidential candidate, what is your plan for the healthcare reform in the Gambia? We've all seen how healthcare has been right now. And I've said this before, animal hospitals in Europe or in America here are in much better shape than our main hospitals in the Gambia. There's no doubt about that. In terms of everything, whether preparation, cleanliness, supplies, proper doctors, proper care, customer service, everything you think of, they are much better. The animal hospitals are much better than people's hospital in the Gambia.
I can attest to that, because I work with.
I'm sure. I
work with the World Global Animal
Good.
Listing. People spend thousands and thousands.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and then the business make more money than, even during COVID, more money than any other thing. So I know.
Exactly. So we need to have that question asked to each of these candidates. And this is going to be a day that they're going to speak out of their mind. They're going to speak out of their vision and what they know for sure that they can do without looking at any piece of paper, with no advisor standing by them telling them this is what you say. No, you have to be able to present yourself, show the Gambian people what mentality do you have? What is your vision? What is your plan? What can you do? If you have a plan, you will be ready to talk about it without looking at any piece of paper. This is how we are going to eliminate some people, because it will be our process of elimination. You will see, in fact, I guarantee you, when they put that online and put that and announce that for a presidential debate, I guarantee you some of the political party candidates will drop out. They will not show up because they don't know what questions they're going to be asked. They don't know what they're going to answer. They can't, some of them may not be able to stand out there and defend themselves and say, this is my plan, because they don't have a plan. Okay. So, if we have this, then we have questions from the Women's Bureau, questions from the victims, questions from youths, questions about our fisheries, questions about our finance, our economy. I mean, you name it, everything you think of. How are you going to restructure our civil service? Who has the talent? Who has the vision to really accomplish that? How are you going to do the security reform? I mean, there's, like I said, so many problems in the Gambia. We need to pick up the basic, the most important questions that need to be handled first. And then each candidate get asked those questions, and the general public listen to what their plans are. Like I said, I guarantee you some people don't have any plan, and they will not have any plan for all of these questions. And this is how people are going to say, you know what, from this debate, I know so-and-so is not going to cut it. So-and-so is not going to make it. So-and-so has already embarrassed himself. People will go to the right person without really, we need to, when it comes to Gambia, we need to see Gambia. We don't want to see people. Yes, you may see somebody that you like. That may not be the right person for Gambia, and we should not put them in power, because they're not going to move us forward. Let's all unite over someone that is going to be able to do it. Someone that has the knowledge, someone that has the experience, someone that has the plan in place to do this and can talk about it without holding a piece of paper, or without looking at anything in front of them, or without any advisor by them telling them what they need to say and things like that. So we need that kind of leadership. And if we select somebody like that, chances are we will be selecting the right person, and that person can face any media station at any time and talk about their plan without holding any piece of paper. And this is just what I want to stop for now.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah,
Some have put some.
You have to be by the IEC, man.
What's that?
I said they have to take you by the IEC, maybe. You can help us.
No, selecting a president is not a joke. And
I know.
Right
Yeah. And then we don't have to say, because so and so is in the same tribe with me, or we have the same distance now. I think exactly. We have to look at
these are all things that is dragging Gambia back.
That will eliminate. This will eliminate all tribal lines. It will eliminate anything with tribalism or favoritism or anything. Because if you like somebody and you see that really this person doesn't have a plan, and they even embarrass you on stage, they can't even say what you're going to say. People are going to start cross-carpeting. People are going to make their minds from that debate and say, I am going to vote for so-and-so because this is the person that really has a plan and a vision for this country. I believe this is the person that, even though I'm not in that party, but they're going to say, this is the person that really should move the country forward, is going to move the country forward. So I am going to give my vote to that person. That's the decision that people are going to make after that debate.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Alas.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Sam. I come to, I think, 3 major points here, which I just wanted to say something about prioritizing things. That is very good, I mean, you have to prioritize. We do that also privately, I think, also. Here we call it ABC analysis. I used to tell people, even my daughter, I used to say, you have to practice that ABC analysis, which is in port A, they are very important. They should be done. And which should be waiting for A, B, who are very important, but not as very important as A. So you push it to B. things like that, say and day, and if you have that in your life, even as private life, you'll find life easy. But when you don't have this plan, it's always a stress, because you don't know where to start. You can start A, you turn back, you see C, you forget A and jump to C, because there is no proper planning. As you said, Sam, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the planning is always, and then prioritizing. What are the Gambian people right now? Their most important needs. That's where you have to jump in first, and then go to B. For example, the health situation, as you said, is catastrophic. So I would say, as a president, then I try to start with those projects to make sure that my people are healthy, and then jump to B. B maybe making markets or making roads and so, and then jump to C. Try to see that our resources stay in the country, and then we try to feed from it. Things like that. You need a proper planning. But when you don't have that, you can start with set, whereby A is burning, you run to A, C is calling there. So it's just a stress, 5 years, and you cannot solve anything. So proper planning is very important. And when I come to debate, I also favor that. Today the new generation everywhere is debate, because they have seen in a democratic country, to make a debate is also a very good tool, because the way people used to make politics, especially in Africa, that is out. Because people used to come and tell you, after 5 years of suffering, they come and give you $5 and a bag of rice. You forget about all your problems 5 years, and then you vote for them. And then after 2 days, you jump in the same condition again. So that is cheating. Or you see somebody come and promise everything. People don't know that he's telling a lie. So after sitting there, people start to discover that this man was telling a lie. But he's already there to serve his 4 or 5 years. So it's also cheating. It's late. So my advice here is only, first I'll try to say thumbs up, or maybe not, for Borough government trying to practice a democratical way of election. It is not perfect, because even we diasporans cannot, but the readiness to allow a free election without stress, I hope so, without stress of any opposition, attacking opposition, arresting them, things like that. That is corrupt. We know it. And this is not the case, or not yet the case. Let's say that. So then we can only thumbs up when everything is done. So, but right now, that is signaling that it will be a very peaceful and democratic election. So my advice to people is only, let people try to have their own opinion. You said it here, Mr. Sawaneh, to say he's my tribe, or I know him, or something like that. This is an individual responsibility for every Gambian, for him or herself, to sit and think, who am I, as I think Sam said it, who can I give my card? Who can I trust? Whom do I think that he can solve it? Or solve your own problem? Ask yourself, and then after having all these answers, and ask that person, even if you want to go and meet that person, you want to vote personally, and ask, what are you going to do for me? It's your democratic right. What are you going to do for me when I vote for you? You can even go to that extent. If you have these answers, then you can try to do something. And your opinion should be not has nothing to do with the opinion from your wife, from your father, from your mother, from friends. That can also be an influence, which have been taking place all the time in Africa. It's also very dangerous. Many people, they say, vote. I'll vote for these people because everybody, you see, because everybody is voting them. They never ask why should I vote for this person? They'll say, I vote for this person because everybody is voting for, without knowing their own personal reasons. You know, I mean, that's where we have to sensitize the people also, because after giving your vote, you cannot complain after. You know, so you have to support the area which is going to benefit you too, and make sure that this person is trustworthy, somebody to believe. As Sam said, the best advantage is the debate, so that these people come out, because we have a lot of parties. Maybe most of them are there. They are very good, but they are not known to the Gambians because they don't have the opportunity with the journalists to introduce themselves to Gambians. You know, so I think talking about debate, the TV stations, especially the big ones, should also try to be neutral in this case. Organize a debate. Let these people come, because we are living in a world of technology. Even if you are a party leader, nobody knows you. When you are there, you talk to the public, they'll say, that is this man, okay. And he promised to do that and that and that. And listening to your plans and so, they can also judge, make their own judgment, whether you are somebody who is going to be their future or not. You know? So the TV stations, the journalists should try and give the people also the chance to know a certain person. They should be neutral also, just like the ISC. These are institutions, they have to be neutral, no biasness. You know, so debating, I would even say when they don't want to attend, maybe you have some political leaders who don't feel good to come, just make a day as invitation, a day, each of them to come just to introduce him or herself. So take another day, invite every individual alone just to come and explain briefly his agenda and then what his plans are. So Gambians are listening and seeing that person. They can still join. So they maybe when you say debate, maybe for 18 parties, it's also going to be difficult for the TVs or the organization or something like that. But you can invite every individual, try to be fair. The questions you ask that person is the same question the other person is going to get. You know, first you introduce yourself. The next time you invite them all, 18 parties, leaders, to come and explain why are they, even ready for this place, and what are their plans. I think when Gambians hear that, they can still decide. I think these are all things that's going to take Gambia forward and not dragging us back just because I know Mr. Sawaneh, I'm going to vote for Mr. Sawaneh. I vote for Sam because I was there. The dancing was very nice, and the benaching was very okay. So I'll vote for somebody else because he's Wolof, I'm Wolof. They should have reasonable reasons to vote somebody, because voting is not a joke, and it's not. Many people are suffering today. They should not blame maybe anybody because maybe they voted the wrong person. I think even voting, God is also looking what the people are doing. If you vote somebody and you know that this person cannot, you will be also maybe one of the people who are going to suffer 5 years, because God gives you the chance, give you voting card, give you a brain to think, a brain to be fair to yourself without looking left and right, and still you decided to do the wrong thing. I think in God's side, you are going to be punished somehow. So people should be fair and should be given, the Gambian people should be given this chance. It's a democratic country, and all countries are doing that, even the big ones, even America. They organize debates and all these things. But we can even make it simple. Give them the chance, to invite them, let them introduce themselves to the Gambians and their plans. I think that will help. And then my next advice is the Gambian people should be very careful about political parties who are going to them and try to bribe them. That's also not fair. I hope that no political party is doing that. And the people taking the money, The political parties are only doing that because they know that it's their weak point. That's why people say poverty is a crime. But still, being poor, you have to be fair to yourself. If you are not fair to yourself, that means you are going to suffer when you get the wrong person another 5 years. So people should take their time, think of it, try to be fair to themselves. Whom do they think will take the country forward and not to drag the country back or a still stand? And that is a responsibility of every Gambian to take this chance this time and try to see who to vote and what to vote. And I'm advising all political parties not to give up, not to say, oh, these are all or these are the three big parties, we are not going to have chance or things like that. They cannot know. They don't know what's in the head of Gambians. I would advise them to continue. We have democracy and people have the freedom of opinion. They don't only have the freedom of speech, but the freedom of opinion. And I would advise them also not to give up and try to inform the people what are they planning to do, so that people can know who to give their cards. Yeah, the invitation of TVs, I think, is a very important thing, as Sam said. So I think for me, that's all. And then I'll say that that the IEC is doing a very good job, and I hope that it's going to be a peaceful and democratic. Because even for Barrow, it's a test. He's going to prove the Gambians now how democratic he is. I mean, Jammeh was also democratic, but one time he was not ready to. But he tried to respect the idea or the opinion of the Gambian people, everything. Just that because of something he wanted to change but that's the way to show that the opinion of the people is more important than any president. So the president or anybody, the government, they should respect the opinion of the people. No forcing, no pulling, no bribery. Let the Gambian people decide. I think then we are uh, going forward with our democracy.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So we, Alas, thank you for that. And I think we have Mpamara. Mpamara, you are online? Mpamara.
He's Storm.
Yeah, I think he's on mute.
He's on mute, yeah.
Mpamara.
If he can hear us.
Yeah, he's muted. He's probably busy.
Maybe
okay.
He's busy.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll come in then. So, all right, you guys have spoken wisely and loudly about leadership, choosing the right leader. And the way the situation is right now, there is nothing more important than choosing the right leader, especially this coming election. Gambia has never, I always tell myself, I don't think Gambia has ever been fortunate enough. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I don't think Gambia has been fortunate enough in the past. Why? Because we never have the right leadership in place. Even if we have the right leaders, but the followers or the people around the leader are not the right people. So we gotta have the right leadership, and we have to have the right inner core. In that case, I think we will see some good things happening in our country. So when it comes to choosing right leadership, I have a few questions to ask. Why people choose leaders? Why? So the reason why people choose leaders, because they want people who can represent their ideas, their what they want, whatever area that leadership is tilted to, people are there to choose a leader because they feel like everybody cannot be a leader. So somebody gotta be representing them. Let's say if you want to choose a leader in a classroom or a leader at a work, I mean, like I will give you an example, or a leader of a community organization. You want somebody to represent that community, the ideals of that community, to be the person who would look at the vision, what that community wants, and try to achieve it. So the same thing for a country. If you choose a leader, you want somebody who can represent your country. Look at what are the shortcomings. What is it that we are lacking? What do we have resource-wise? How can we use these resources to get more? How can we look around and find anything that we can turn into material or something productive? So a leader has a vision. The reason why they say vision means something that is not, that hasn't been there, but you have that idea. You understand? Looking all around what you have and changing that, you putting that into use to get something big for your people. For example, Gambians, we want employment. So we want a leader who has a vision for employment. And that this vision needs to be communicated. You have to communicate this vision for the voters to vote for you, right? In the Gambia, we need 24/7 electricity. We need water. We need our streets to be clean. We need good healthcare system. We need good education. So Gambia has a lot of package, a lot of things that these people who want to become leaders can look into and make a case. Like, for example, if you have this intention to run for office, this leader should be able to have solution for all these issues that are centered to the people. So you're going to be the one representing these people. Therefore, you have to get the solutions. So this is what people are looking in a leader. They want somebody who can represent the overview of what they are, what they want and where they want to be, and how they can be there. Let's say in 5 years, this is where we want to be. We want to have 24/7 electricity. We want to have, water, clean water. We want to have, clean streets. We want to have a good education. So how do we get there? This is what the leader needs to communicate and make everybody believe that this is the way we gotta raise funds, we gotta raise taxes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And everybody can buy into it. So that's what people look in a leader, somebody who can represent. My other question is, why people want to lead? People look at leadership as something that everybody should be able to do. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry want to become a leader. But you have to ask yourself, why do I want to lead? Is it that I want to fill up my pocket? Is it that I want to have an opportunity for a coalition? To become a minister? These are the genuine reasons that our folks need to ask themselves. Because the job is not easy. If you think like becoming a leader is easy, come to America. Leaders here, when they become leaders, their dark hair turn gray in 5 years. Because you know why? They work. They're not there to eat and sleep and fold their arms. Oh, Mr. So is going to do that. Mr. So is going to do that. No, you got to get your hands dirty as a leader. You got to get up in the morning, take that, that call, that important calls at any time of the night. You're going to be ready to jump in the plane and fly all over the place. You gotta be on top of your game. Leaders don't sit down and sleep. Leaders don't sit down and eat endlessly. Leaders need to be proactive. If you're a good leader, perhaps you don't even have a good night's sleep. Guess what? When people are sleeping, that's when you are working. And when you do all your work, and when people are awake, that's when you are sleeping, because you have done all the work. So people need to know leadership comes with work, with seriousness.
Sawaneh, I just wanted to help you there. You know, they used to say, if you have a cattle, it's easy because you just need one stick to control everything.
Exactly.
But what doesn't function with human beings, especially Gambians.
Exactly.
So to be a leader in Gambia, I think is another dimension.
Exactly. You got it right. So that leadership role, people coming in should know. I mean, no disrespect to these people in the political arena, but I cannot even believe myself the kind of people I see there. I have nothing against comedians. I have nothing against Rastafarians. I have nothing against other people. But let's be serious. Somebody who doesn't even have what it takes, has never even led a chicken or group of chicken, or has never even led any community organization, just jump up from nowhere and want to become our president. Is this a joke? Are we in a place where people are trying to make our highest office a jovial place? Those people who wants to lead need to soul search themselves. Ask yourself questions. What have I done in the past 10 years for my community without being told to do it? Have I changed people's life? Have I built trust around my existence beside my family? These are some of the basic things before you even jump the gun and say, oh, I want to become Gambian president. You think Gambian presidency is something that is just take it for a ride to make money? So people need to know this question: why am I going? Why do I want to lead? I want to lead because I want to bring differences. I want to make changes in our community, in my community. I want to improve people's life. I want to represent the will and the vision and whatever people want their life to be in the next couple of years. That is the goal that you are going there for. Not there to fill a pocket or to take the title because you want to be called Mr. So and so, or opportunities. Some people even use it as opportunities. Opportunities to get honorable, or getting free cars, or driving all over the place. So the third question I have is that what do you do before you become a leader? Most of these people in this leadership arena has never done much. I don't want to call names, but I have a friend I've been with the friend for a long time and I haven't seen him. I haven't seen what he's done for himself and for the community. And this guy said he's going to lead Gambia. Are you kidding me? So people need to know. People need to know it is important to be honest to yourself. Don't make a fool out of yourself because you have a name, or because people know me as a singer, so I'm gonna use that. Or people know me as a rapper, or I mean as a comedian. So I'm sorry to say be calling this comedian thing, but it's the fact. People are taking advantage of anything that makes them famous and use that to get into this arena. Please, everybody has their role. If you're a comedian, if you're a musician, stay there and make it different. You can change life. Your messages can change life. If you are good in soccer, football, stay there and make difference. You can make difference there. But I've seen it. Even my own star, I used to do, came from music and want to run for presidency. I'm like, gee, I mean, this is not for you. It's a joke. I mean, don't you use your fame to try to do that. But nobody told him to go back to music. So let's make sure that our leaders don't just come and say, because I'm a professor, I'm a PhD, I am this. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to have the track record, you know. So let me just give it, before I allow Sam to come, let me just give the characteristic of a good leader so that people watching can know. If you're going to choose your leader, integrity, somebody who is honest, fair, treat people equally, would not sit there and chop your money. Somebody who has businesses in his life, who have make money, don't need your money. Watch out for this. I am saying to myself, if somebody don't have money, I probably will not even vote for you. Or if somebody I've seen who has money is greedy for money, I will not vote for you. Because you know why? Because they will enrich themselves. So the person has to be contented. If you take John McCain, or I mean, at least they say Barrow was a little bit well off. But if you take John McCain, who came with $250 in his account, or 2,000, I'm not even sure how many he has in his account, and now end up becoming a billionaire leaving the office. Yeah, that's what you expect to get. Take somebody broke, put him as a president, never seen all these cars, never seen all these beautiful things. He's gonna be rich. So let's make sure that people are honest people, have integrity, are able to, are able to be doing the right thing without nobody watching. If you put that person in office, you will be good. Also, somebody who can communicate. Communication is very important. If people don't know how to communicate, they cannot solve problems. It could be something little, but communication can solve. Communication have made the world better. You know, you have to negotiate, communicate, and make sure that you solve problem by finding out what is the issue. How can we iron the differences? How can we bring everybody on board? Why are this particular group are not part of our leadership? Reach out to them. Don't feel too big. Communication, what it does is it breaks down whatever is been, it search for whatever breakdowns you have. So if you have a leader that can communicate and put every dot together, they can solve our problem. Another thing is initiating power. Some people don't have the initiating power. They cannot take the risk. A leader, you have to be able to take risk. If you sit down and wait until you are sure, you will not do anything. Look at Lincoln. He knew that he was going to die, but he said, I have to do this. You're taking a risk. You can get killed. But that risk that you are taking, that's what makes you a great leader. Because if that risk goes through, you can move mountains. Look at all the leaders we have. Martin Luther King. People are taking risks to make a difference. But if you don't have initiating power, you only do it when you are safe. Oh, when people say, hey, you leave it. Hey, you leave it. How are you going to make a difference as a leader? So you need leaders with bold decision. Listen, I believe in this, even though doesn't get popular support, but if it is the right research, right belief, and right course of action, you do it. That's what moved the nation to another level. That's what Kagame has done in Rwanda and other great leaders. Another thing is you have to have a leader who have the knowledge and skills. When people say knowledge, it's not about education alone. Education helps for you to get knowledge. But knowledge is know-how. That's why I say knowledge. And knowledge is when you use your education, you use your experience, you make it work in a situation that needs to be resolved. But I have a PhD. I don't know how to make it work in a situation. What am I? A fool. I'm a fool with a PhD. So people are confusing knowledge and education. Education is something that you go to school and get your certificate and go through the protocol of learning. But knowledge is using that education, that experience, and making it work in a situation that is required to make it work. So some people don't have that know-how. So that's why they say knowledge, know-how. So you need to have a leader who has the knowledge. Otherwise, he's gonna go and hire Mr. So, Mr. So, Mr. So. They don't have no knowledge, or maybe they're gonna fool him. So finally, people need to be. You need to have a leader who brings people together. I always say this: you bring people together, identify the right people. See, Jawara administration lacks that. Jawara was a great leader, but who are the right people to put the team together? Borough administration lacks it more than ever. Yahya Jammeh's administration, Yahya Jammeh is better in identifying the talent, but he ended up killing them. Once they know that what he's doing is bad, he end up eliminating them. So Yahya Jammeh identified talents, unlike talents. Jawara cannot put talents together enough, but he was better. Barrow doesn't even know where talents are. Instead, he reverse it. People who are not talented are the ones advising him. So this is the situation. So we need to have leaders who knows how to discover talent and then also how to bring people together. Because togetherness, if you have a leader who has a way to bring people together, trust me, no matter what problem we go through, he will find a way because he identified the interests of everyone and put them to the table. Yeah. So Sam want to say something if Amara is not ready, but this is what I have for leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Sawaneh. Yep, thank you. Great points. Great points. I look at you cover quite a bit in here. There is in leadership. Leadership is very, very important. And in my career in the U.S. here, some years of my career I was an instructor for my company. And one of the courses that I taught was leadership. So my company will hire people from college. They will come in. They'll hire them to go lead people. Before leading people, they come to my class first. They'll spend 1 week with me, Monday to Friday. 1 week, Monday to Friday. And I used to teach them different courses. And Monday, I'll take 2 courses, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So one in the morning, then take a break. We have lunch. I order lunch, we eat lunch, and then in the afternoon, let's teach another one. Tuesday, come in, and I'll test them what I taught them yesterday, Monday. And they will take a test, and I will grade their tests and score it. We do this every day. Wednesday also, I'll give them an exam for what I taught them on Tuesday. Thursday, I'll give them an exam for what I taught them on Wednesday. And Friday, I finalize and then award them certificates with my signature on it that shows that they've completed this course before we put them in their own place to go lead people. So, leadership, there is a lot of things in leadership. And like you both said, it's very hard to find the right person. And that's why I suggested we go through this debate process, because the debate process, when people stand out there and start talking, the more you talk, the more people know about you, because every question is going to be different. And each question is going to test your knowledge and experience, not what you just learned from school, but your knowledge and experience, what you've done in the past. Do you know how to do this and things like that? Because at the end of the day, we want to find a solution for Gambia. Solutions for Gambia. Who is the solutions for Gambia? That's what we want to find. Who is going to take our country and lead us in the right direction? So in doing that, I would also suggest that, again, IEC will have a big hand in this by dealing with all political parties and the current incumbent. But this should be independently done by a television station, for example, Fatu Network. I'll use an example. I don't know all the television stations in the Gambia. I know there's QTV, there's Africa TV, there's, GRTS will take that out of it because they're part of the government. They will not host this. Fatu Network, and I can see them as a viable candidate for this. And I can see that Fatu Kamara or Fatu Toure and One of these people, you have, what is his name? Haruna is there. Haruna is one of those key candidates that can do this as well. Someone that is not going to look at anybody's eyes. They're going to speak the truth. They're not going to favor anybody. They will ask the right questions to each and every individual. All right. And the way this can be done also, if we want to really target what Gambian people want and what is good for Gambia, any network, any television network can start this by doing a survey of all Gambians, Gambia and abroad, and ask, what do you think are our problems in Gambia? If you have to list 10 problems, what are they? Let people solicit information from people, hear from people, and they will find out that most Gambians, or the majority of people, said so and so and so and so and so and so. You will see the same questions coming up or the same issues coming up in different areas from different people. These are where they're gonna, that will give them a start to see what questions to put together for this presidential debate. And I don't believe in, if we are going to select a president for our country, I don't believe in giving them any heads up. We're going to tell them, yes, there is going to be a debate in all areas, but I don't believe in giving them any heads up as to what the question is, because that's going to make them go and do a research. We want to see their talent. We want to know their know-how. We want to know their experience. We want to know if they've led people before, because if you've never led people before, and now you want to lead a country, that could be a disaster if you've not done anything else. Yes, somebody can have the education. Education is very important. Knowledge, the know-how, especially the experience. They say experience is the best teacher, because you can go to a pilot school and learn how to fly a plane, but if you've never experienced flying an actual plane, guess what? I'm not getting in that plane. Even if you have a free airline ticket to go to Gambia, I'm never gonna get on that plane, because you've never experienced it. Experience is the best teacher. We want people with experience that can really lead our country. And the way to do that is to have that presidential debate. And that way we can hear the true picture. We can ask them questions and see what their experience tells them, what they can do about handling things like that. All the questions that I've said, and there's many more. For example, they can ask them, if you look at Gambia's economy, if you look at Gambia, cost of living is very high. How, as a president, what are you going to do to lower the cost of living for Gambia? What are you going to do? Because right now, cost of goods are going up and people's salary are still sitting here. That does not work. How are you going to fix that? These are important. There are a lot of important questions, but like I said, they need to be prioritized. I mean, if you ask Gambians, they can come up with 50 questions, even though we're not going to have time to do 50 questions on television. That's why the survey needs to be done first, then pick the best questions that fit the Gambia, and the best questions in order of priority, what these candidates can do to fix Gambia. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we want somebody that has the solutions for Gambia, not someone that's going to be part of the problem. You see, we don't want anybody that's going to be part of the problem. We have seen from the past, from Jawara's regime to the current regime, we cannot repeat mistakes. We cannot go back, because Gambia is way behind times, way behind other countries that we've had independence with, way behind countries that, we've had independence before them. So we are way behind time. As a result, we have no time to waste. We want somebody that will come in and take this country from day one, start passing not only executive orders, but start doing things. Because I know in my mind today, if I were to be a president, there are certain things, as soon as I get into the office, that very first day, I'm going to pass an executive order. There are things that I know I will do that for. For example, I'm just giving an example. For example, I'm going to stop that Chinese operation immediately. I'm going to sign an executive order and stop that. I'm just giving an example. Stop that and find out, number one, want to make sure that they can clean up. But number two, look at all the violations. And number three, where is that money going? What does Gambia have? Where is that money going? I want to stop that money going from going anywhere but to Gambian people. So there's a lot of things that can happen. So we want to select that leader, and a presidential debate is going to allow people to hear what these people are going to say. It is going to allow people to know their judgment, to understand what kind of decision making they're going to do, to understand, do they know how, to understand their communication skills, to understand their morale, to understand their integrity, to understand their honesty. This is going to allow us to understand a lot of things about these people by asking them questions, because any leader that comes in, like I said, need to have all of those skills on top of all the ones that you said, especially. But we want somebody that can set goals. After knowing the priorities of Gambia, come in and set goals. And the goals should be SMART goals, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, result-oriented, and time-bound. This is how you can accomplish something. That's how you can accomplish tasks, by setting that. And of course, if we select that right leader, they will know the right person. For example, if I were to be a president, I will know who to bring to the State House and who not to bring. You know, I will select the right people, because you know why? The leader should have that knowledge of how you manage people. How do you recruit people? How do you recruit the right people and keep them? Who are going to be helpful to you? Those who are going to help you be successful, because you can't do it all by yourself. If you bring a bunch of, even if you bring 1,000 people that don't know how, that's not going to help you. It's better you have 5 people that can advise you with 5 different things that are expertise in their area, that can advise you to accomplish what you need to accomplish, rather than having 100 people and feeding all 100 people every day, and you're still not getting what you need done. So that's the waste of Gambian people's money, and we don't want a leader like that. We need to be selective, and best way is, like I said, presidential debate that's going to answer all these questions. We're going to see candidates are going to drop off. When they drop off, because they're not going to want to go and face people and not know what to say, so they're going to drop off. And if they drop off, their parties will die. People are not going to support them anymore, so their parties will die. This is also a solution to having too many parties in the country. People that don't know what left and right is, and people that don't know how to do anything, or lead people. Leading people is of paramount importance, and is very important, and Gambians need to select who is their solution. That's what we want.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I think Mfamara is Mfamara, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sawaneh. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hello, Mfamara, how are you?
Yes, I'm all right, Alex. How are you today?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Well, Sam is my candidate right there. He just said everything. I mean, you already had a plan, what executive orders to come in, and that's really touched me, because that's really all what we need. You know, that country is just too small. You know, we just need to make a right decision, you know, to improve the whole situation, you know, because Gambia is small, but we are very rich in terms of natural resources, which if we exploit them, you know, in a proper manner, you know, we can turn things around. You know, our fisheries is one of them. Fisheries is very important. Our fisheries is bringing in not only giving us food security, but also, you know, it can improve the economy, because our fisheries alone is contributing, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. But how is this money going? You don't even see the impact. So Sam really touched about something very important here. And Sawaneh also talk about you need to have an experience, because some people are naturally born leader. Some of them have to you have to bring them up, you know, for them to realize that skills in them, that they are potential good leaders. But in our country, looking at all these 3 governments, you know, the problem is still the same. The problem is still the same. All right. Now, we have seen every year the president goes around on, it used to be Meet the Farmer store, now is the People store, whatever it is. I mean, the constraints, the people that, the problems that they tell the problem is still the same, the last 15, 20 years ago, all right? And then look at how much money they spend yearly to go on that tour. Well, if I was President Barrow, say this 4 years, I would have even not go on a tour at all, because I already know from Jammeh's period, go back to records. If they are actually preparing reports of that Meet the Farmer store, if they are preparing a report, it should be sitting in the president's office. Go through that report. Go through that report and see what are the problems and where you can come in to improve the situation. Now, if it is a requirement in the constitution that you have to do it, spend that money directly instead of going out for the national tour. You know, that millions of dollars is that they put aside for a president to go once in a year, to go nationwide. You know, how much vehicles and directors are going with following the president and whatever. Just take that money and choose one region. You know, put all that money in one region, upper region. If it is a borehole, if it is electricity or whatever, farmers need something, put all that money in one region 1 year. And the next year you do the same, because the problem is not going to change. Everywhere you go, they're going to tell you that our farmers have this problem, marketing, we all don't have a drinking borehole, or our schools don't have this, or the kids don't have that. It's still the same problem. And yet we put budget in it every year, put that money somewhere. You could have gone simple as simple as that. Now, leadership, especially in Gambia, there's a reason why we all vote. Vote is because it is an obligation on us as citizens that we need to go and vote, because our life depends on it. We are also paying taxes. And if we don't vote, then we'll have people that are going to lead us, and then we might not want. But because you don't vote, then you did not participate in that process. Then somebody will lead you that you don't want, obviously. And those are the reasons, in short, that's the reason why we go out and vote. All right. If I was President Barrow in this coalition period, I will dedicate complete 2 hours once every month or once every 3 months. Go sit in GRTS, 2 hours, allow people to phone in, and you pick up that phone and you speak to people. Hey, Mr. Barrow, how are you doing today? Fine. Well, how can I help you? Where do you think I'm going wrong this time around? What do I need to correct? Get your politicians to come in. Don't allow any opposition to give you excuses. Allow them to come. If they are really genuinely interested in advising you to advance the country, invite them. Go out to them, invite them to come in. How do you think I can improve on this sector? Because no president is good in all areas. There's something that Barrow probably knows, which is lenient and whatever, but he had no experience working in the government before. You give a 500-page report to President Barrow to read through, which our country has to make a signature on to decide our economy, for example. Is Barrow going to have that time to read 500-page report? And he never had an experience sitting in the government department before, and it's going to be difficult.
He probably going to pass it to someone else.
Exactly.
And seek their advice.
Exactly. To seek advice. So those are the people that we depend on to make life for us. And these are the people that we are seeing time and time again. They are people who have been, implicated in corruption and in bad management. So how can you trust those people to come back and give you good advice? That's the problem. So, Mr. President, sit in GRTS for a couple of hours, listen to what people say. And that could be a very good point there for the president to go ahead and do that. So I think, Sawaneh, it's very important to vote, but at the same time, it's also very important to select the very good leaders. And integrity is very, very key. Education, yes, is important, because some people can go to school and get educated. Some people might not go to school, but they are still very educated. All right. So the paper education and natural education, they are two different things. They all, but yeah,
that's what I mean by knowledge, because knowledge exactly. and education are totally different things.
Very, very different things. Yeah. So those are very, very important. And honesty is very key. To be honest to people. Personally, if somebody lied to me once, definitely I don't trust you anymore, to be honest. I find you to be somebody I can't trust on at all. So whatever our leaders do, they need to be very, very honest in what they say, in what they do. So that's integrity is important, because at the end of the day, Allah is going to hold every one of us accountable in this dunya or akhirah when we go out of here. So whatever you do, look at the poor people. So from some of us who we come from a very poor background, you know, we have gone through a lot of things that before wherever we are, but some of the families that we come from, and sometimes some of the leaders that we have are even coming from this poor background, but they quickly forget, you know, where they come from and what they have gone through. And then they're the one, you know, causing the problems again on poor people, not putting their plights into consideration. So we have a lot of things to do in Gambia, but I think quality of a leader is very, very important. And I think this time around, more of people are coming out to vote, you know, to contribute to the development of our country. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity. But leadership counts a very lot, and on the direction that a country, you know, will take, you know, obviously, because you are the pilot, you are the driver, you are leading us everywhere, and we're the passengers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Famara. Thank you. So I think we can just ask questions and then we don't have to. We can post the last agenda because we're over an hour. If that's okay, we can just ask questions if we have, you know, and then just summarize this. I think a lot of people are liking what we are doing, and then their comments are there. So you can see it.
I just wanted to come in again.
Okay, comment. Okay, come in, Alex.
Yeah, Mr. Sawaneh, I mean, you mentioned here about other parties, and I mean, it's democracy. You have to open the door. You know, I mean, everybody, even you yourself, you as the democratic state, you have the right to say, "I'm going to do this." You know, I support that always. I always support democracy to make sure that we live with the life of democracy and not dictatorship. Because when I say, okay, this party should or this person should, you know, we never know. But when they, as Sam said, when we have a debate, it's a way of filtering. And there, the Gambian people can also try to make their opinion. You know, as a democratic state, I think we have to hold on these rules and regulations. You know, because if not, I can find you bad for the president. Somebody else can find you good for the president. So I should not influence the people with my opinion. I can only give advice. Because look, there was also this Bobby Brown in Uganda, and this man was a musician and was not bad with his results. He's only cheated. Yeah, because the people believe in him and believe in his vision. You know, they don't look on his music, but they could imagine that this person can put them forward. So
yeah. Let me clarify there.
I know. Just what I just wanted to say. When we have democracy, we have a problem because the democracy, as a democratic state, you cannot say this individual is having this.
Yes, if just let me clarify that if you are a musician or you are a boxer or you are a wrestler and then you meet the right criteria, yes. But what I'm saying is using that fame and then using that fame and that money to seek for the highest office is what I have problem with, because there are some you are a comedian, you have a lot of following, or you are a dancer, or you are a musician, you have a lot of following, but you don't have the know-how. You don't have the education.
That's the danger. That's the danger in it. That's the danger in it. But we have seen it.
You can win because you have a lot of followers. Now, if you win, we're still gonna have the same problem that we are currently having.
That is the danger. That's why I said here, it's a big responsibility. I mean, it's democracy. Everybody should have his own individual opinion. But this opinion, we should not misuse it. Every Gambian is responsible to choose somebody whom they think that he will take the place forward, not to grab us back again. You know, another example, Mr. Sawaneh, I just wanted to say, you see my friend Arnold Schwarzenegger in your place.
Yes, Arnold, I know him.
He's actor, but he could go to a governor. So these are why is it happening in America? Because it's democracy. That's why I just wanted to say again, we should not even take somebody to say, okay, it's a woman or he's doing this or doing that, because the people are responsible. It's democracy. They have free opinion to say, okay, we take this person, Mr. Ceesay, Sam, we know that he is going to make it. That is free for the people. Doesn't matter whether Mr. Ceesay is black or white or how to call it. What they should be is their responsibility to know that Sam is genuine, Sam is okay, and is trustworthy. And when we vote for him, he is going to solve their problems. That's democracy. You know, without looking, I mentioned it here that people should vote not to say it's because of my tribe. I think if you even said it, not to vote because the drum was very nice or the Benachin was very okay. Because these are all things disadvantage to democracy, because you are putting the person, judging the person, or giving your own opinion with other criteria. You understand? And that should not be. Our main focus is this person can do it, and we are sure that he can do it when we support him, and then we give him this vote, because it's going to take another 5 years till you can change your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Alas, I understand your point. The only thing I'm concerned about in this case is that
I know we are worried.
People can be swayed by something, a criteria that is not a fit on the leadership. Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Bush once says, I have two things in common with Arnold Schwarzenegger. George Bush Jr. He said, we all have muscles and we all cannot speak English very well.
But doesn't matter. He did a fine job.
So what I'm trying to say here is Arnold, yes, was a governor. And then not only Arnold, Venturas also a boxer, become a governor in another state. It happens here in America too. What I'm saying is that people can be swayed by fame, but that doesn't define somebody's leadership skill. Now, Pamara mentioned something. There are trade leaders, and there are leaders that are learn behavior of leadership, behavioral leadership, we call them. So the trade leadership are the people who are born naturally with leadership skills, and they can be identified even at the childhood age. So those trade leaders have it. They take initiative. They are making things happen at a very young age. They don't have to learn. But there are some people who can learn later leadership skills and then become good at it. So perhaps Arnold, and other people become like that. But what I'm saying is that what I'm fearing is people get caught up, just like how they get caught up with tribal lines. I feel like I'm a Mandinka, so if I run, all the Mandinkas will rally behind me because we are majority. But Sam can be a Fula and Sam more skillful than me. And when Sam ran, definitely he's not gonna get the votes because Sam is a Fula, but he's more skillful than me. But me, who is less skillful, don't have the know-how, I'm gonna win because you know what? People who are the majority are identifying with me. That's an advantage for me. That is not fair in a way because people are not gonna, vote the right person. So Arnold and other people also are like that. And these other comedians, that are jumping in the race, they have the people. They have the following. But you ask them presidential debate, they don't even know how the economics work. They don't even know how the geographical, Gambia is geographically divided. You ask them, they stumble on a debate. Oh, because I think, but if President Barrow can come from nowhere and become a president, I can also do it. I have had people say that, but you remember, President Barrow's coming was a transitional leader. First of all, I didn't even agree the way he came to power because the fact of the matter is that coalition was not, rightly, picked, because there are people who are more experienced than President Barrow Ahmad Ba is one of them. Even though I don't support him, Alifa Saleh is one of them. Even my father was more experienced than President Barrow. President Barrow said he was a businessman. He doesn't know leadership. This man was so honest to us that we cannot blame him for that. That's why I never question his educational background. I never question his experience. You know what I question? The people who mislead the president. So they're thinking that this is a position for him. He was a transitional leader. That's why I can visit Barrow, because I don't think I can visit Barrow in the State House. I have no problem. I sat with him in 2019. I don't think, all the things that we are blaming him for in terms of qualification or know-how, he already told us. You guys are putting me there, but I'm a businessman. I don't know this. I depend on people. You expect him to go to university in 4 years and be able to be, have all this knowledge? No, that's why we are where we are. So the Gambian people have now the rights and the ammunition to set the record straight. Don't make the same mistake. He was the only thing I blame Barrow for is taking this transitional leadership to a full term, which constitutional wise they all messed up because I wouldn't, if I was there, I wouldn't even agree on 2 years. I would just make it 5 years and transitional leader. But even if you make it 5, Barrow, since he takes that place, he's not gonna leave at 5. He wanna contest again. So the fact of the matter is Barrow did his thing. Let the Gambian do their thing. You have your voters card, you have your brains. We are here every Sunday sensitizing you guys. Go and get that voters card and select your right leader. We cannot repeat the same mistake again. Look at each leader, look at their characteristic, look at what quality they have, look at the representation based on what they promise to deliver, and make sure you see that they can deliver that, or they had delivered it in the past. But if a politician has been in politics for 10 years, 15 years, and they haven't even created any borehole or any kind of development in the country, you telling me that person would develop something when he become a president? Because they don't have the initiative power. They don't have the know-how. If I'm in politics, I'm leading a party. Trust me, in 5 years, I would make a lot of changes in my own ability, because you have sponsors, you have internal revenues that comes in, but you are focusing on other things instead of making people's life better. And now you tell me, give me a chance. If I go there, I will make it. You have to show me now. If you don't show me now, I'm not gonna vote for you. And then that's why I like Mama Kande, because I don't know where he get his money. I don't know how trustworthy he is. I don't know all the negative things they said about him, but he delivers. When there is a fire somewhere, he goes and contributes. He built boreholes. He has been a community leader. So that man, if you give him the ability to lead, don't say he's not gonna steal money, because I don't know how trustworthy he is, but I can guarantee you, if he had created those things in the past, he would bring development. So you look at that in a leader. I'm not supporting Mama Kande. I don't even know him. But what I'm trying to say is that these are some of the things we look at. I want somebody who has done it before. When you go to America here, when you go to job search, you want to be a manager, the first thing you know, they ask you, where have you managed anything? Where have you managed? They want to see the resume. I cannot say, oh, I'm intelligent. Oh, I can manage. No. Oh, I've been in the workforce for 10 years. No, have you managed before? Tell me so and so that you have managed. If you don't, they don't look at your resume. So the same thing, if you want to tell me you want to manage a country, have you managed before? How successful were you? But if you have never done anything, you dare managing, but you have not been successful, and you tell me, give me a chance, I will? No, I'm not crazy enough. Gambian people, let's wake up. Let's choose the leader based on their track record, their authenticity, their integrity. They say what they mean. Not like, what is that? What? I mean, yeah, small wall of bahun one day.
But you said it, I think, right? Yeah.
So
but these are the problems we have also, because we don't vote, because mean, it's nice that we try to enlighten the people because many don't still understand what is election and what is voting and why are they voting. You know, these are the problems we have. And then it's the duty of the opposition also, or duty of all Gambians, to make sure that people know these answers. You know, why do people go to election? Why do people vote? And how do they vote? You know, it's a big problem. The only thing people know up till now is where to go and register your voting card. That is what's going on now. You know, but they have to go further to explain to the people. Doesn't matter which party you are. You know, what is the use of the voting card? And if you make a mistake voting today, that mistake will follow you 5 years. So you have to be careful and vote somebody, then you don't need to be angry for 5 years. So, and why should people take their time and think of it? And it should be an individual decision, not from mother, father, wife, or anything, just like the West here. I can vote to this party, my wife can vote to that party. It's our own business because it's an individual thing. But this is not common in Gambia, you know. They'll say, look, if everybody is voting there, so then that means I have to vote there. Ask yourself, why are you going to vote there? Because it's an individual responsibility. Even the whole Gambia is voting somebody. Ask yourself before doing it, what do I have from it? Why should I do it? And all these questions answered, then you can react. But don't just go like a ship, you know. You know, ship they always follow the heart. They don't always look for reason. You know, this mentality should change. It's democracy. Everybody is free. Well, everybody talk about freedom of speech. That's all what we know. But democracy goes further, and these are things people should know through their party leaders. The opposition can also do something. Tell the people how it works. The whole world, because it's a new soup for Gambians. I used to say our small baby democracy. You know, it's a small baby, so we have to make sure that it grows. And yeah, the next thing I wanted to say, Sam, I'm full with your idea with the debate. My only problem is now you have 18 people. I think then the TV station should try and look to do it at the stadium, maybe for a place, so that even some people who are interested can go live and hear them also, you know, and then still at the same time they show it on TV, so that they'll all be present there, and then yeah, let them get their questions through survey, and then ask every individual, then let them talk to the public. Then Gambians know what they are doing. It's also how to call it, a way of protection before people vote the right person, you know. And yeah, I think it's a fair way. It's democracy, and it's normal.
Yeah. When they do something like that, that's all part of that preparation and planning from the beginning. So yeah, they can use the independent stadium and have a podium for each candidate and televise it. That's how people will go in there in person. Everybody in the Combo area. In fact, people will come from Up River, you know, and come and go visit that to be able to see all candidates line up the same day, you know, same time. That'd be great. And for the rest of the people that don't want to go there, they can sit at home and watch it on TV. It just has to be televised so that people can watch it both in person and virtually. Yes.
Right. Yep. Thank you very much.
So somebody said that hello brothers, can justice system help our country?
Yeah, I mean,
can justice system help our country? Somebody asked a question.
Yeah, you're a little lower. Your voice is a little lower.
Justice system. Yeah. What he means, we are having justice there already.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all part of leadership. When we have the right person in place, that person is going to make sure that justice prevails in any case, because consistency is part of leadership. You have to be very consistent, you know, as a leader. So yeah, that all comes along with that. Justice really has to happen. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
any final word? Famara, you have anything?
I think we can wrap
just to
this up.
thank everybody. I think so far so good. What we're getting from Gambia is that the voter registration is going on smoothly, despite some small couple of things. So let people go out. I've seen Fatu Camara and others going out in the streets today in London corner, targeting youths, sensitizing them, educating them to go and register. And I think these are the kind of things that we need, that people should go, because there are still a lot of people out there who have not registered yet. And we just have to sensitize them. Some have the document, but maybe some people don't believe in voting anymore, or don't believe in leaders to make any changes. So with those kind of little things, it helps a lot, because you might convince some people that will go down and register. But then, I think so far so good. The diaspora voting is still hanging in there. We don't know yet, but
I don't think
we are hoping.
But Farmer, don't lose hope. You know, the power of the diaspora is still there. If you are here, yes. If you are still here alone, you have a family of 20 at home.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So don't be afraid.
Oh, yes. So in other words, Alas is saying that diaspora can convert their vote by influencing the people that
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? It's a power. Why not? Because
we have a lot of influence on people.
Because that's what Jamia was also trying to underrate. But the power of the diaspora is huge.
Very huge.
Yeah. So if I'm not able to vote, I'll make sure that I find 5 votes somewhere. That are probably trying to tilt to other party. I'll bring them to the party that I want to vote.
Your whole family. Because your whole family.
Exactly.
If everyone can do that, I think our impact will be felt in the election.
Oh yeah. That's the final thing to do if we cannot vote at all.
Your whole family, Mr. Sawaneh. You know why I say that? Because your family will be maybe somehow not comfortable that you cannot vote.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that case alone, I mean, when they want to make a solidarity with you,
exactly. My family and whoever I can grab,
They will vote your party then. I don't know which party you are going to be, but I think when your family want to make a solidarity with you, they'll vote your party then.
That's what I'm saying.
The fact that you cannot do, so exactly. And that's why the danger is there.
Yeah, I think we should sensitize that if we're not gonna vote, let's all diasporans, push that, make your vote felt by influencing whoever you can.
Right. It's no hindrance, but I knew that. That's why I said it here. So half a year we talk about it. I think I knew that it will come because we are very slow in organization, and then to imagine how to make it. Look at here, many German people, the boys don't even know that the election is going on. So and how to do it and things like that. So you have to organize that in many countries first before you can even make a voting by letter or all this.
Yeah, somebody said, Mr. Sawaneh, why Barrow didn't quit after 3 years. Yeah, Barrow has been somebody said why Barrow didn't quit after 3 years. Because Barrow first, to tell you the truth, I think Barrow is a genuine person. I think Barrow didn't want to go after 3 years, if you ask me. Because why? I have evidence. My evidence are 2017. I was the one who led the town hall meeting here in New York. And that's when I have connection with Alkali Conte, Usenu Dabo, all the entourage. Bojang, and I met Barrow in multiple times. I was the one between the community and the government. So, and that's when Barrow knows me. So I think genuinely at that time, Usenu Dabo was part of the team. Alkali Conte, once we had a meeting, 10 of us with Barrow. And, it was Maifati, all of them were there, all the executive and some community leaders. When Alkali Conte said that, mentioned UDP, the UDP as a party, when he was introducing Usenu to speak, then Usenu said, this is not a UDP, we are not here in this, in this particular operation coming from Gambia to here to meet, to UN. We are not here as a UDP. We are here as coalition. And he corrected Alkali Conte. And then I had a lot of respect for Dabo for doing that, because they were trying to make sure that there is no mess, between the party and then the coalition. So Barrow was following, the real principle, because he said in a meeting, I was there, like I said, I organized that meeting. He said, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, what Gambian people did to Yaya Jammeh, they will do that to me or to us. So we learn to be karantale. Yaya Jammeh karantale and to be karanta. Barrow himself said that. So that was his mission and that was his focus. But the problem is, the reason why Barrow didn't stay for 3 years is the coalition. Coalition didn't, everybody was trying to look for who can be leading after Barrow. Or everybody was trying to just make the 3 years go fast and so that they can lead. So they were scrambling. This include Ahmad Ba, this include Usaino Dabo, this include Mai Fati, it include all the leaders, coalition leaders. So Barrow noticed that, if I live honorably 3 years, these people are already undermining. This is just my assumption. Nobody told me this. Undermining stuff already, the coalition. Perhaps they just want to use me as a tunnel, and then after they grab it. So some people started to talk to Barrow. People like they said, people close to him, I don't want to mention name, pull him aside. Ite be sonna nyina ñun malla fi ite fenke ñun be fan wala interest or normal. So it's like, if you keep telling somebody negative, the mind, human being is fragile. So the 3 years was not planned. 3 years was planned, but everything happened when they started coalition, and they signed the memorandum of understanding, first one, according to Halifa. I sat with Halifa. They signed the first one, which so that the parties coming together, they will have 70 people from each party, and they will go and do a vote. But during that voting process, the reason why Barrow won is because Barrow don't only have UDP 70 people. He had, I think, the 70 people from my party's team, and then that other guy, Henry Gomez, and other people. So Ahmad Ba has his own people vote for him, and Halifa, and maybe some other people. So that's why Barrow because Barrow has other coalition leaders group that voted for him. So whether that is arranged, whether that was makeup, I don't know. I'm not there. But that's how Barrow was chosen. Because to me, Barrow was not the most qualified. I would even put Ahmad Ba in front of Barrow when it comes to, like experience and knowledge of administration at that time. So I cannot even talk about Halifa. Halifa is overqualified. So, but the reason why Halifa said the second memorandum that's supposed to make Barrow accountable, make sure that he cannot decide to fire cabinet ministers or to even hire them without their approval. So their headquarters supposed to be somewhere. That second memorandum is what was not signed. When they wanted to go and sign that, some among them said, listen, this is too much for president. What are we doing? Who are we to tell the president what to do? So they felt that was going to control the presidency, and people talking to Barrow are saying, "Kana sonyina." They're fragile there, because what happened is some people want to put Barrow on this side because they're worried about people like Halifa and so forth. So this is why everything fall apart. They didn't get a chance to sign the second memorandum. If they had signed the second memorandum, Barrow wouldn't have, there would be one parliamentarian would be coalition members. Barrow would have been, every decision would go through their coalition people and so forth. So this is where everything fall apart. So Barrow sees that now there's an opening. If these people that are supposed to hold me accountable are not agreeing, loose cow. Let me run. He ran in the bush. So he ran with it. And then now he contact lawyers. Okay, 3 years. Husseinu coming out and saying, whoever is gonna hold, hold him accountable for 3 years, I'm gonna take you to court. Oh, so Barrow said, yeah, thank you. He ran with it. So Husseinu make Barrow even more emboldened. So at that point, the question is why he didn't go 3 years. If you are too emboldened and you are enjoying that chair, some of the things that you never seen in life, making the national decision, everything you said is happening, what are you gonna do? Human being is a human being. Barrow tried to change. And the worst thing that make Barrow not to stay 3 years is Barrow turn around and see that, oh, okay, now the people who are supporting me are divided. Now I started to build Barrow Youth Movement. Okay, you started to smell something. They start to smell, wait a minute, something is burning. Barrow Youth Movement? What does that bring? So they foresee that Barrow is trying to empower himself for a party. So UDP started getting fragile. Worried. Now they started to criticize. Now they started to have headbutts. So Barrow turned around and say, okay, I'm losing the people who brought me here. Let me look for support. Then many people say, hey, we are here, we are experienced. We know how to make Jammeh stay long time in office. So get us. Barrow say, come. Sidin Jai and others started coming. So Barrow started to embolden himself with new people who are even worse than everybody. So this is my analysis. Nobody told me this. Like I said, I'm not in the Gambia, but what I follow and my sense tells me this is what happened. So Barrow didn't actually come out and do this. There's a situation that was created, and then the coalition need to be blamed for this. But even though, if I were Barrow, President Barrow, as a good African citizen, and then somebody who went for Gambia, what I would have done, I would have honored the 3 years. I would have honored the 3 years, and I would have come back. Because guess what? I honored the 3 years. I live in good notes. I know connections now. During those 3 years, I built up my connection, my finances, and I would tell Gambian people I'm young, and I did something good. I put your country in the track. Vote for me. I swear to God, Barrow will win when he came back. When he come back after giving 3 years, come back in the political arena.
But the problem is there is a virus, they used to say, in the State House. You can say everything before you get in, but when you get in and get sick, your dream is always to die inside there. I mean, they used to call it, it's a sickness of a lot of African presidents, after the, I think it's the life and the luxury and some things like that. As you said, Mr. Sawaneh, many use it to enjoy, not to work. Because if it is work, they'll think about it before being a president. Because to be a president, you have to do something. Some presidents don't sleep. If they were a dick, you'll see that at the end they'll be very thin, because it's a lot of responsibility. I said it here, with a cattle, you can use a stick to control everything. But here is about human beings. It doesn't function that way, and you have a lot of problems to solve, as Sam said, in the Gambia. So having that in head as a leader, I don't think you can sleep very good. So you have to be very fit and be responsible. And these are the things I think the Gambian people should take now responsibilities in their hands and then try to give chance to the Gambia, because we are hanging for how many years still, just because it's not settled. There is no settlement. I mean, a little bit now after Jammeh, but I think we need to cool down and try to look for ways to go forward. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter who is going to do it, but the Gambian people should decide, because it's democracy. Okay, Mr. So maybe Sam wanted to say something.
Sam's want to say something.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to go to the talk about the next topic.
No, we are done.
Too long for people to watch this.
We'll talk about it later.
Since this one ended up being very open, and this is a wide topic, this is something that we can talk about over and over. But I do want to make a comment on what you said, Mr. Sawaneh, from your analysis. I think, you know, this is why we need a great leader. A great leader would have said, you know what, my integrity is online. I signed 3 years as part of the MOU. I'm going to stick with 3 years and not allow anybody to convince you with anything else, because your word is your word. What you say is what people are going to hold you accountable for. Like you said, if I were him too, I would have done the same thing. Honor the 3 years. That was the agreement. Honor your voice. Get out. Then if you plan to run again, come back and try and run. Okay, that's what I would have done, and that would have gone with better integrity and would have given him a better legacy as well to be able to contest for future elections. Now, on the other side, I disagree with anybody that says, I'm not talking on behalf of any party. So here we're talking about Gambia. If I were a part of the political party leaders that signed that MOU, a memorandum of understanding, I would have said to Senator Dabo, Lawyer Dabo, take me to court, but I am going to stick with 3 years because here's the paper. I have a signed copy. That's my evidence. Take me to court. Let's go to court. That should not. So I don't want people to use that as an excuse, because Lawyer Dabo said this, so he's going to do this. If Lawyer Dabo said, let's go to the river, are you going to plunge yourself into the river when you can't swim? If he says you do this, I'm going to take you to court. Sam, I mean, does he control you? No, he doesn't control you. Sam, I don't want people to use that as an excuse. If I were them, I would have said, we have the memorandum of understanding. That is our official document. It's a binding document that can take to court, that I can take to court and show the court. So I would say, if I were them, I would have stuck with that. I would have stick with the plan by saying, I'm going to stick with the plan. 3 years is what we said. Whoever wants to take me to court, take me to court. I have the document. I have the evidence. Worst case scenario, if you go to court, what's going to happen? The court is not going to find you and put you in prison for saying that. No, the court can only dismiss that case. So it's not a big deal for anybody among them to have come out and said, I am sticking with the 3 years because that's what we said. That's what we agreed on with, and that's what we signed. If you have a signed document, that's enough. That's your evidence.
Okay.
But there was also a problem, I think, even within the coalition. Because some will say it's signed, some will say it's not signed.
No, the first one is
that
signed.
is going to show you.
The first one was
signed. I know.
The first one was signed, and it had 3 years in there as a mandate.
Mr. Sawaneh, you can remember, we were the people who were very loud saying 3 years. So after it came to, if somebody talk about the 3 years, he's going to court. You know, we were the first people who started talking about it.
Don't say the name. Usainu was the one who said that.
Yeah, you know, that was the time we were very loud, you know, with the 3 years and so, and we were kept quiet with such thing. I mean, we couldn't find it directly. Ask Kawyoro and all these people, they know. Sawaneh knew that from the group. Because that is democratic, and they have to stick to their agreement. That's why after things were gone, so other people started to say 3 years, just now, and all these things. But then our fight was already over. But we started with that and wanted to make sure that it is done also what is being agreed. But it was not the case, and we didn't have any support. You know, that's why I used to say, we Gambians, we need to be real to ourselves if we want to find life easy. I cannot be saying here, yes, just because it's favoring me. If it doesn't favor me, I say no. You know, so where are we? We are not real. You know.
Okay, you are right. You are Alice. You are right about that. But Sam, if somebody is my political father,
okay,
you are my political father,
okay,
and you said something that favors me,
yep,
and back me up. Hey, Sawaneh, guess what? If anybody wanna touch you, I would take him to court.
Yes.
You are doing the right thing. Stay there.
Yep, that
and
is
you
correct.
are my political father.
That's correct.
Oh, man, Sam, my father said something.
What I think you misunderstood me. That is correct for what Barrow did. Barrow could say that. What I'm saying is the coalition members, Halifa Saleh, Mai Fati, all the people, the political party leaders in the coalition, like Khalifa said before, when they were signing that MOU, they all knew that the Constitution said 5 years, but they chose 3 years for a reason.
Yeah.
So why didn't any one of them came out, including OJ? OJ was there, Khalifa Saleh, Mai Fati, all the coalition people. I'll put it that way. Why didn't any one of them said, even if Hussein Daba said that he was supporting President Barrow to stay for 5 years, if anybody challenged him, he's going to take him to court. All of the rest of the coalition members that signed 3 years should have all come together as a coalition again.
Exactly.
Because when that was signed, Hussein Daba was not there. They should have said, hey, we knew that the Constitution said 5 years, but we said 3 years for a reason. That's what we agreed with. And here is our signing document. Here is our binding document. Let's stand with this and say, yep, it's 3 years. We're going to stick with 3 years. Take us to court.
Let me tell you why that didn't happen.
Because the division were already there.
Exactly. What happened was, Mai Fati, so now we have two fractions. We have the ones that want Barrow to go to stay for 3 years, and the ones that want Barrow to go for 5 years. The ones that want Barrow to go to 5 years, Ousseynou is part of them. Is the leader of that.
Okay.
Now we have two gangs, kind of. Okay. I won't call them gangs, but groups. So now, where are those Mai Fati? Where are those OJ? Where are those Ahmad Ba? Which side do they go? So this was the challenge. So now there is a division that is there. So if you want to take to say, we're gonna come together. Already there is already a division. What you're gonna have is maybe Halifa by himself or with one person, and now already they are overpowered because majority of the people are with Barrow.
Yes,
Barrow's going for 5 years. So
right.
how you gonna fight that?
Yes, here's how you're gonna fight it. Because if you think about this, what you're going to fight is what Hussein Daba said. If anybody takes a challenge the 5 years, he's going to take you to court. Well, they're not challenging the 5 years because they all knew from the beginning the Constitution said 5 years. 5 years is the mandate. But when you sign an agreement in an MOU and said 3 years, that 3 years becomes your mandate. Even though Constitution said 5 years, they all know that. So even if, like I said, if I were a part of that coalition, even if they all branch off and go with Barrow, I would have said, I'm going to stick with my word. 3 years is what we signed. I have a copy of the paper. And you know what? The court is what's going to judge that. So I could say that, yes, Lawyer Dabo, I'm going to go on television. If I were there, I will go on television and said, Gambian people, we said 3 years. We signed 3 years. I'm going to keep my word. I want to keep my integrity. I'm going to stick with 3 years. So, Lawyer Dabo, if you're going to take me to court, let's go to the court. I have the paper to show the court, and the court cannot find me. They are not going to put fines on me. They're not going to put me in jail because I know that's not the law. That's not going to happen. The only thing that can happen is there are several things that can happen, but nothing like I should be worried about or feared about not to challenge what we agreed with because I have a document. That document is my binding document, is the evidence.
Yeah.
I can go to court and say, here it is. So it's going to be the court's decision to say, yes, you guys signed. The court is definitely going to acknowledge that document as part of the binding document and say, yes, it is true that you guys signed 3 years and here's the document. I agreed with that. The court can say, yep, this is an evidence that you signed 3 years. All right. It's not the fact that we are saying the Constitution is not 5 years. This person, I am not saying 5 years the Constitution. I understand 5 years the Constitution. What I'm fighting for is we agreed with 3 years and here's the paper. Here's your signature. Here's your signature. Here's your signature.
Okay.
Here's your signature, and stick with that and see what the court will decide.
Okay, so this is the thing, Sam. When Halifa spoke, he understand that this is a moral issue. Barrow's 3 years is not a legal issue. Why? Because when they are doing this, they knew the Constitution was there. They made a gentleman's agreement to save the Gambia. and it worked. Now, moral obligation is what Barrow has. If Barrow decided to disregard the moral obligation, what Halifa is saying is not worth to go to court and fight this. Already, what they wanted to prove is that when we come together, we can, to make the Gambian people believe is we can vote anybody. Gambian people, what Halifa said that the main idea of the coalition to make Gambian believe that election can take a leader, no matter how powerful it is, like Jammeh, when you come together, and they proved that. Secondly, a moral obligation is not a force upon Barrow.
Right.
So if the Barrow disobey the 3 years, the Gambian people have to judge it by the election time. Yes. To see that this man, morally, he hasn't, keep his words. So that is where the payback comes. But not to say for Halifa to pick up that file and go to court and fight Barrow to come down. He cannot do that.
No. It's not about fighting. What I'm trying to dismiss here is people's excuse of, because Lawyer Dabo came out and said, if anybody challenged the 5 years, I'm going to take you to court. Okay. That was, people are saying that was the reason why Barrow stayed. So, and if anybody, if Barrow stayed,
it helped.
Right, which is fine. That can be fine. What I'm saying is, if I were part of the coalition, I would have said, well, I am still going to stay 3 years and let Lawyer Dabo take me to court. He's going to take me to court. And when I go to court, the court is going to judge, and the court is going to say, of course, will understand and acknowledge the fact that there was a 3-year document that was signed, and that became the binding document at that point. Even though they all said they knew that the Constitution was 5 years, the court may rule in favor and say, Barrow, yeah, stay for 5 years, that's fine. But then in that point, I will walk away as a king, knowing that I said 3 years, I stuck with 3 years, and I ended up with 3 years. And today, people would have looked at me differently. If Halifa Saleh said that, for example, or any one of them, not just Halifa. I only saw 3 people. If any one of them said that at that time, today people are going to look at that person as has more integrity than anybody else.
Someone is not moved.
Where is that coming from?
I don't know, maybe from farmer.
Yeah, I think it's just, he's unmuted. So it's coming from there.
Farmer, right?
Yeah.
Can only be.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I was saying. In other words, he muted.
Yeah, somebody said that
anything. I was just want to say that if any one of them would have stood up and said, yes, I'm still going to stick with 3 years. I'm going to challenge the 3 years and let Lawyer Dabo take me to court. When it gets to court, the court is going to say yes, may say that yes, Constitution says 5 years, and you all knew that anyway. But you guys agreed to 3 years, and let the court decide what's going to happen. The court could say, yes, we're going to honor the Constitution. Barrow stays for 5 years, and the case will be dismissed there. Nothing happened to the challenger or the person that they took to court. You're not the one going to court. Lawyer Dabo said he's going to take you to court. If he takes you to court and the court rules in his favor by saying Barrow stayed 5 years, that's fine. You're going to walk away from that court with a lot of integrity. Because people are going to say that
I see
that said one thing and kept it all the way to the end.
I think I agree with you on that.
And today, people are going to look at that person as the person among the coalition leaders that will be the person that will have the most integrity.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I think some of the coalition. Yeah. I think now I understand what you're saying.
But so we're
gonna close now. I think coalition, the remaining ones that didn't agree with the 5 years should have voiced it out and make a campaign, at least to express their stand, not to be keeping quiet or to be like to be mad, because that's what they did when Dabo said this, and then some of them go along with it. The other ones like Halifa, they hold themselves.
should have come out.
As they should have come out and then express their frustration and campaign. That's what Sam is trying to say.
That's exactly what I'm going to
say. If they do that, maybe that could even bring a national this thing to probably get people, you and or other people, talk to Barrow and see if they can convince him to leave in 3 years. So I think Halifa and them, they probably, think they are proud or something. Inyorta. Gambians are fond of doing that. I don't know in English, but if you guys can help me with the word,
it's all about leadership. Leaders don't do that.
Yeah, nyori. Alas, you know what is nyori, right?
Nyori, hecho.
Yeah, so you like, because we discussed this and you don't like it, and you wanna, you just wanna leave and leave it like that. You say, I know I'm not part of it anymore.
Just give up. Just give up.
Yeah. So I think that was the only thing they
the other thing is also, it was also the wrong time of discussing about it, because I cannot have just only 2 weeks and start with that discussion. That means if even Barrow decided to go, there is nobody to, because the others were not prepared. So that is also going to set us back again.
Exactly.
20 years again back. And these are the things we have to avoid. I used to advise people, if we want to go forward, we have to keep away with all those nonsenses. We have democracy now, we should be happy. And if we vote for somebody, let everybody take the time, think of it properly, don't blame anybody afterwards.
Yeah. So somebody said that I define leadership as saying the truth. Somebody said I define leadership as saying the truth and act even is your downfall. Yes. I mean, like saying the truth, integrity, even if it doesn't favor you, I think is a great strength of leadership.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I agree. Lankinter said that, and I agree definitely. Yeah, that question. Yeah, I agree.
No, it's true. The people, doesn't matter who want to be a leader, should be real, and the people voting him also should be real with their opinion. This is democracy, and that is what is going to bring us forward. But if we want to just vote looking at other false criteria, then that means we are fooling ourselves.
Yeah.
We should not blame anybody, Lee. That's how I see it, because we have the chance. Yeah. And many people have a lot of time to think about it, almost half a year now, to think about it. So they have to do it right. Yeah. Doesn't matter who. Okay, bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for this wonderful discussion. I think people are really following this. So
thank you, Sam Famara. I don't know whether he's hearing me. Sawaneh.
Famara, thank you. Thank you. All right. See you guys next week. Take care.